Turkey Man Series Ol Faithful box call by Flextone Game Calls is a box call with a mini boat paddle design. Lid and base made from eucalyptus. Its two-sided design produces two distinct hem tones. It's the ideal call to create the sharp, loud cutting sounds necessary to fire up gobblers, especially over long distances. Great for locating and running and gunning. This premium call is handcrafted and tuned for the best turkey sounds possible. The Ol Faithful box call from Flextone.
Turkey Man approved.
I've never been more excited about some mouth diaphragms I am about these brand new Hale Deadly Diva series of mouth calls. What's so special to me about this particular series of turkey calls is they're super high quality. What we tried to come up with in this Deadly Diva series is a series of 3 calls that pretty much cover everything, as T-Bone would say, from soup to nuts when it comes to mouth calling. And what we got here, we got one that's called the Lonesome Linda. Now what's cool about this call is your typical or kind of a new cut to the whole turkey call, mouth call diaphragm family, which is a fang cut. But what's cool about it is very thin latex, which is really easy for a beginner if you're looking for that raspy sound, but you don't need a lot of basically air to blow it. It's a really good sounding call, but really simple to use. Super, super simple to use. The way this fang cut is, it starts off raspy, it ends raspy. Because of the light cuts on this, or the light latex blends here, it's very easy with little pressure to blow. The next call we got in the line is a Ready Rita. We went with what we call a ship cut, to where he took a typical cutter call, made a little bit of a fang cut, but he opened the one end of it so you could still get those whistles. Because a turkey call, he starts on the high end, he breaks over into a raspy end. So this particular call, this Ready Rita, with a really light latexes, you can get really soft, but you can also bring that high pitch part of a turkey call to sound something like this. A lot more high pitch, but again, you can get that front end really easy. Get a little more volume. If you're a hunter who wants to use a kiki run, this call is really easy to run the kiki run on, because you got one side of the cut that's open that doesn't have a fang on it, so you can get that high end. It sounds more like this. You can cut, you can do whatever you need to. And then probably the best of them all, the Trashy Trina. This is more like a lot of the calls that a lot of the competition callers are blowing. You can still call soft, but it's got enough backbone in it if you really want to get down on it for those cuts and cackles. It's a little bit more complicated to run, so the first 2 calls are a little bit easier to run. This call though, however, you can get louder and you can get soft. It sounds something like this. You still call soft. Now this is the bat wing cut. It's a 3-reed call, but this is the Trashy Trina. We tried to cover everything when it comes to mouth calls. Each one of these calls are custom made. They're custom built by my buddy Chris Parrish. I mean, top of the line calls. If you want them to use them to fill your turkey tags, or if you want to run them on a competition stage, these calls are durable enough, they're good enough from anybody from the beginning turkey hunter that wants to try a mouth diaphragm all the way to the most experienced veteran turkey caller. The Deadly Diva series by Hale.
We know Kentucky is famous for moonshine, and we know Harold Knight made Kentucky famous when it comes to turkey calls. However, we're not sure whether or not he actually produced moonshine to go along with it. But we felt compelled to call this call the Moonshiner. And it is a hand-turned acrylic call. It features a crystal surface and an acrylic soundboard. Absolutely my favorite call that we have come out in our friction line this year. It's matched with a Jatoba striker, and the sounds of this call are rich and pure, and probably the best all-around call for cutting, yelping, and just loud turkey sounds. If I was still in turkey calling competition, this would be the call I'd take on the stage, the Moonshiner from Hale.
A completely brand new really innovative box call that Knight and Hale's brought to the market. This is the Razor's Edge. When it comes to a box call, I personally think it's the absolute best call to mimic the sound of a wild turkey. As a matter of fact, I always use a box call to basically use as a sounding board when I'm practicing my diaphragm calls. This is a mahogany body. This particular lid is a bloodwood lid, and you'll notice that it's got two different sides, but Knight and Hale has added an aluminum edge, which is really redefined the way a box call sounds. It gives it really crisp, loud sounds, that rolling wheel effect, that ee-yak that all hen turkeys have, and when you run them together, it sounds really good. Now on the other side, you got your typical box call for your traditionalists, that basically is the bloodwood lid against this mahogany body, but it sounds something like this. And I'll start with the common sound that most good box calls have, but it's just a definitely can kill a turkey with that, a common sounding solid box call. But listen to the sound when you go to this Razor's Edge or this aluminum side. What you got in that is a higher end, but you got that little wavy, kind of gravelly sound that a lot of hen turkeys have. I call it almost a yearning effect, but it's loud. And you can definitely hear that distinctive ee-yak, that definite rolling wheel sound that really is distinct and gives that realistic tone, and it gives that yearning and waving sound. Now, cool thing about this particular call, if you got this bloodwood ridge and maybe you want to, change it out for one of the ones out of the switchblade lines, simply push down and you pull out, then you can switch the lids. So then, if you got those lids, then you basically got one box call that you can get up to 7 to 10 different sounds, especially if you use both sides. So probably for sure the best sounding box call out there on the market, but also the most versatile if you want to buy one call that you can mimic a lot of different sounds. So a very, very innovative call. It's the Razor's Edge by Knight and Hale.
The box call probably called up and killed more turkeys than any other call made. First patented in 1897 by a man named Gibson. He patented a box call with a hinged lid. We found a new way to hook it up. It's a magnet, and we call the call the hookup. I can even use it left-handed. Just the right amount of pressure this lid's putting on the box. I can't turn it around. Comes with a gobbler band. This call makes a great rolling, cackling gobble. Gobbler band has just the right amount of tension to let that lid go back and forth. Yep, we call it the hookup. I kind of like it.
The Stranglehold pot call from Knight and Hale. This pot call is designed with a one-piece pot with a built-in sound chamber and crystal surface, matched with a waterproof striker, the polymer tip. Fantastic all-around hunting call. High-pitched, loud with volume when needed. Great all-around hunting call, the Stranglehold from Knight and Hale.
This is the Quaker Boy H2O waterproof push-pull call, Easy Helper. It's our Easy Helper version, but with waterproofing on it. This call should need no maintenance ever, never needs chalking or sanding. The waterproofing, you throw this call in a pond, pull it out, and it'll work just as good as when you took it out of the package. Very easy to use. To do the elks, you just simply push that plunger down. Clucks, just shorten them up, make them jump. Purrs. Very easy, very simple to use call. Now, once in a while, that spring may pop out of there on you, especially if it's banging around in your vest. It's very delicate. You just got to be a little careful with it. What I like to do is keep that spring way up in the corner. You keep it against that one side wall, get that spring to set right into the top edge of that corner, and that will put the most down pressure on your block, where you're going to get louder calls and a lot more quality sound out of it. Very easy to use. Novice and veteran alike love this call, and turkeys love it.
Primos Hunting. Speak the language.
The Primos Hook Hunter series produces incredible pitches and unique tones that even the wisest old Tom can't resist. The 2-inch hooks with its ghost cut gives subtle, effortless yelps, great keys and purrs. Curved hooks with its crew cut gives unique highs and low tones, cuts easier than glass, with effective rasp. Long hooks with its uppercut is extremely loud with great rasp. Sharp hooks with its spike cut gives very unique yelps. It's the most universal of the hook hunter calls.
Quaker Boy's Thunderbird Gobble Call. It does come with a plug in the end where it won't make noise when it's riding in your vest when you're walking through the woods or field or whatever you're walking through. It will not rattle and make any noise. To get that call to make noise, you have to pop that plug out of there. And you can use this call one or two-handed. Now what this is going to do, our main uses for this call is to get that turkey to shot gobble at you. It's a good call to use first thing in the morning, last thing in the evening, when you're trying to locate that bird. If you're on public ground, of course, I don't suggest that you do a whole lot of gobbling on it because they are super realistic sounding, and you really don't want to call out any other hunters in. But these calls are definitely effective, especially if you owl hoot in the morning or crow call and you haven't had any response. You might want to rattle that gobbler call, and in most cases, they will gobble back to you. One-handed, this is a good high-pitched call. You just got to get the end of that bellows whipping around. You hold it by the hard plastic end. If you want to two-handed, you grab it like that. I keep my hand open to start, then I close it off through the series. That will get him going, fire him up, give his location away, and then it's all up to you.